I don't want to give up very easily, but I end up closing many companies because I just run out of money.
How do humans handle this change, especially from the entrepreneurial lens? Does AI enable everyone to become an entrepreneur? What is the skill set that an entrepreneur in the AI world? My guest today is Sahin Boydis, a 15-time founder with 6 different exits. He's easily in the top 0.1% of founders, from the number of companies he's founded to some of the success that he's seen. But more important, he's truly a first principles thinker, not caring what others believe or do. He just does what he finds interesting and fascinating, irregardless of everyone else. His level of curiosity is truly deep, and his wide-ranging interests makes him fascinating as a successful founder, but also a 150-time investor as well. We dive deep into how he built his companies, a bit of biohacking, and of course, how he manages his life, remote work, hiring, and once again, that deep, deep curiosity. To him, speed and focus is everything. I'm Adam Spector, a 4-time founder, investor in over 200 startups, and CEO of Chore. We help founders outsource the busy work to focus on their superpowers. Let's dive in. Welcome to the next episode of the Entrepreneurial Excellence Podcast. It is with great pleasure that I have Sahin Boydis here with me. He has founded 15 different companies. We're both doing a ton of amazing things. And I'm just pumped to have you on the call. Thank you, Sahin.
Yeah, thank you. And it's the first time ever in my life that someone declares that I did 15 companies in life. It was sort of a secret. It's the first time, but because I have so many failed ones.
You've heard it here for the first time. Breaking news, 15 different startups by Sahin, which is, I'm sure there are people who founded many more than that, but that has to be in the top 0.01% to start that many companies.
I think Elon Musk might have 15 companies that we know and we didn't know. Like we know he might have like 50 to 100 companies in my opinion.
Really?
I think so, because I think it's because one time he tweeted about domain buying. Who has a lot of ideas, buy a lot of domain names. It's everyone's dirty secrets, and then he says something like that. And I think he can meet someone, let's co-found it, let's test it. And I think he meets with amazing people and have might secret companies that more than is public knowledge, in my opinion.
But so, along those lines, isn't part of being a good founder to some extent? You talk about this in some places you've written about, like the idea of speed and focus is being almost everything in startup life, in being an entrepreneur. So before you answer that question, before I put words in your mouth, define what it means to be an excellent entrepreneur, right? That is the name of the podcast. What does it mean to be an excellent entrepreneur?
Entrepreneur, and I will talk about tech world. I think why tech world works, and it's the biggest industry on the planet, touching the most people on the planet, because I think it's based on a spiritual, religious kind of ideology, which is when you look at every single religion out there, bad or good, every single ideology, they're focusing on give, right? The more you give, the more you get. You have to share, think others more than yourself, do more to others than yourself, right? And this is Silicon Valley. We have high empathy. We have to have high empathy because we constantly think about how to build a process or a product or a SaaS or a service to make people's life better, right? So we constantly think about the other person. We constantly think about the customer. And if the customer is like related to us, like a founder or a CFO or like a persona, we constantly try to be that person and try to help that person. This doesn't exist in any other single industry we have, in my opinion. That's why we are the most successful ones. We are executing the spirituality, the core value of the game. If there is spirituality, if there is like a law of God and something, and we are all in the race to beat our ego, beat our nerves, beat our whatever, the subconscious, to be better of ourselves. And the only way to get better than yourself is helping and try to make other people better. And we cracked that in Silicon Valley. That is why I think we are rewarded the most, and we will be rewarded the most. And one thing that, yeah.
So to summarize then, is entrepreneurial excellence the ability to focus, like extreme focus on the end customer and user, or is it the ability to give back, like willingly give back?
Think about the other person. And we are trying to solve a person for
Meaning the customer, a potential
customer. Even customer, but when you are building a company, you are thinking your employees, you are thinking your shareholders, you are thinking your stakeholders. Like it's like your family. If you're a family man, then you think about your wife, you think about your kids, you want their life to be better. That is the core value of a founder. And that's the core value of religion. You are thinking other people. And how many people we think? How many group of people we are thinking in a company? We are thinking about our customers. We are thinking about vendors. We are thinking about our contractors. We are thinking about our shareholders, our angel investors, our VCs. Look at the different personas and the team, the finance, accounting. We constantly, as a CEO, as a founder, we think other people to do better.
Do you think that's different though than sort of other types of entrepreneurs and business owners, right? If you start a bakery or a coffee shop or a restaurant or a dentist practice or a lawyer's office or you name it, there's so many types of entrepreneurs. Why are they different than a Silicon Valley tech entrepreneur?
Because we are all about scaling it. We are all about trying to show that beauty or the product we built with the love of trying to do better for others, meaning the customers, the CX people, anyone that you are touching. A bakery doesn't have it. You can build the best cookie, the best profiterole, the best eclair in the world, right? Or the best dessert, but it's like you are serving how many people? Like 50 people. That's okay too. But in my opinion, that's sort of an artist, in my opinion, like a small art shop meeting with food. But founder is we are building something to make other people's life easier, right? A tool set. And then we want them to use by millions and millions and millions of people in our heart.
So is it almost the scope of the ambition in a sense that makes it different? Like I'm the ambition of a Silicon Valley tech founder. You know, I interviewed someone for my podcast yesterday, and he was saying essentially the big difference is ambition, like just the need or want to go at such a high scale pushes you to have a better product every day and something that is truly valuable.
I think ambition is not a good emotion. It comes from the ego. It comes from eagerness. In my opinion, we built something beautiful. We built something great. We built something to save time for people. Same process, decrease cost or increase revenue. One of these. So we build it. That is more, it's not an ambition. It's like, why you don't want to give it to more? Like, this is crazy. Like we want to reproduce, right? Like we want to do, if we have unlimited money in the world, maybe a lot of people will have so many kids.
Maybe only Elon Musk, I don't know.
I think if you have resources, like there might be more, the average might be more than 3, in my opinion.
So would you, without talking too much about your personal life, unless you want to, or would you, someone who's been a very successful entrepreneur, have as many kids as your spouse?
No. I'm talking about your unlimited money in a fictional world, not like this world. So we just want to show our creation to other people, and other people enjoy it because we are thinking we are building something great for other people.
So okay, so that is your definition of that, of sort of entrepreneurial excellence. Then go into your history a little bit. Like, how did you become this multi-time entrepreneur, 15 different companies? Like, where did that all start, right? That is, and also, but give people a little more history, right? You're from Turkey originally, I believe. Like, is this a different mindset than most of the people you were friends with and growing up with? And how did you come to that mindset?
I was born in US. I was born in Boston. My first memories in life is seeing the Boston city or going to a Boston Celtics game, like walking in the Boston parks. Like I clearly remember because I made it lived in my head. Like I always lived the beauty of Boston. So I somehow remember when I was 4 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old, or 6 years old. Like my first memories are searching for the biggest egg in a nice suburb, in Boston. So I was more American than the Turkish. So American boy raising in a Turkish family, becoming a tech person is very interesting because my father went to a great school, MIT, and from like a country like India, Turkey, Pakistan, when there's hundreds of millions of people going to the same exam, and then trying to come to US with a government scholarship is a big deal. Like you need to be in the top 1% smartness level. Like it's same with India. There's 5 million or 10 million people going to same exam, and the guy is the number one mathematician. It's insane. Like that guy, we should tell that guy, what do you want in life? Don't worry anything, just solve math problems for the humanity. I think what founder makes great, I'm talking about tech founders, we try to build something virtual with all virtual things, and it was what you need to know cloud. You need to know DevOps. You need to know a little bit coding. You need to understand the UX, UI, design. Now, instead of trying to learn 25 things, mostly even the coding and the product, we will just use the verbal language. I think if you think about it, the computers in the old days were assembly language. Then it was C, then it was C++, then we have Ruby and JavaScript, and the next phase was our normal language, our speaking language, right? So then in future, think about it. Why we are creating all these documents? Why we are creating all these things? What if we have an AI that records everything about your company and creates all the documents and all the whole product automatically? Yeah. And it's going to be like that. So the more people you talk about building great products, and there will be more people around the world join into this ecosystem. That's why I'm so excited. I've looked very positive. I don't look to doomsday. I don't believe we will build Terminators will take over us, because you saw the paper of Apple recently. Yeah. The mobiles don't reason. Of course they cannot reason. We also don't. I think this will help us to define what to be a human. If you take human, put it in a truck, that will be replaced by a robot. But it's the worst, inefficient way to use a human to make them a truck driver. But somehow in the society, we didn't able to have the system for that person to nourish and do something like bigger, huge, more beneficial to the humanity, right? Because the system failed. Yeah. But I think in AI, there will be an AI for helping truck drivers to become millionaires, maybe, right? Whatever it is, I think a lot of people will start to build unbelievable services. Yeah. And now, if you look at how many unicorns we have, how many startups we have, let's say we have like 100,000 real startups, right? That will be 10 million.
I didn't want to go to AI this quickly, but maybe we'll go down this path for bit and come back.
AI is not a new thing. We should directly just talk about AI, nothing else,
We could basically just talk about AI. Given the positive outlook, which is great, I mean, but how do humans handle this change, especially from the entrepreneurial lens? Like, does AI enable everyone to become an entrepreneur, or does it remove the fact that like most people, and if yes, what is the skill set that an entrepreneur in the AI world, what is the key skill set then, right? It's obviously not coding. Coding is not a skill set you really need to have anymore. So what is the key skill set for an AI first entrepreneur?
Yeah, working on the problems nonstop. How to start a company, right? You have an idea. You try to solidify your idea, make it visual as much as possible, right? Design, UX, mockups, the customer, product definitions, like product spec, and then hopefully technical specs and all of it. Then you talk with CX, you talk with design, you talk with product, you talk with finance, right? You try to do all of these. Now in AI, in the first step, we will just do all of these functions faster, okay? And some functions right now, if you think a company as a tree, and I think we should think it as a tree, right? The core is the idea, and then the other functions, multiple functions, there's the product, and for that product, there's so many other functions. And these functions we call it responsibilities and done by humans, right? And if where human interact with digital world, AI can build it in the future.
So then what does that leave for the humans to do then? What are the jobs to be done in a sense the humans will still have?
So example, growing strawberry. A robot will never think about that. Why not? Right? Why? Because it doesn't need to eat strawberry.
But an AI doesn't need to do almost anything, right? I mean, arguably, what?
Right, we are talking about human things, right? So these things will be, like say, building a payroll, right? This can be done by full AI in the future. Like anything digital, like sending money, bank.
But we have robots that can grow almost every crop. Robots that are starting to be able to pick every crop. They can pack it. They can do all the things that a human can do. Or those are clearly coming once the tech gets a little bit better.
Yeah, it's all coming. So the life will be more automated around the person, and the people who automate the most kind of value creation will be the most important ones.
Okay. So what does that look like to build that value creation? Or like how do you define value creation as an entrepreneur? Like what does that really mean? Like what should I be doing to build the AI company of the future in a sense? Like how should I be thinking about it as a CEO and founder?
I think try to think something 10 years ahead or 20 years ahead is an impossible task.
Oh, well, so I agree with you.
We should think this. What is the tech enabler here? So Instagram exists because Apple launched A4 CPU, A4 processor. So then you can do real-time filters, right? They launch Face, and then we have now better KYC. So what is the tech enabler? Tech enabler is a machine that writes better than us and search better than us.
Okay.
So we should not think like why we are building a new AI company. We should think that what services or what kind of things we can do in our companies will be faster.
Yep.
And for these companies, what kind of tools we can generate. I think that's the first thing. And there will be more AI helping with more companies interacting with AI. Example, Harvey, legal work, right? So you can do legal things with Harvey. So then the legal department become less and less people. I think we should just focus on the next 2-3 years or 2 years. And even we don't need to do that right now with this technology. What kind of problems I can solve, right?
I like that framing because to me, this is the question. I was talking with a founder yesterday and they're like, well, how do you explain the AI future? I'm like, look, it all comes down to solving a problem. It doesn't matter that it's AI. The real question is, are you solving a problem in a way that is valuable to your customer?
Can I ask this question? Before iPhone, before mobile phones, if we try to talk what will be the next form factor, how many people would guess that we're gonna have a device in our hand, and in the future will be maybe a ring that we click, it will be solid kind of screen in the air, right? It looks like we touched that.
Sci-fi, right? There's a lot of sci-fi around that.
Yeah, sci-fi is amazing. Think about any sci-fi, all the things, right?
Everything in Star Trek is going to be a reality in the next 20 years. Like we're going to have replicators. We're going to eat food we want. We're going to have a full-on VR life experience that we walk into and live that world. But yes, keep going. Sorry.
But we couldn't guess that iPhone kind of device will be the future of computing.
Sure.
Right? We will never guess that. So we will never guess. So in my opinion, these all started with, there was a DARPA project that they train AI on the software in GitHub. Mm-hmm. And that was, I think, really created, like we can make computers learn how we use them and try to put natural language on it, and then it starts to work, right?
And that's and just to clarify for people, that's sort of why code has been the first area that AI has been really good at, because there's a huge corpus of training data.
Exactly. And they learn it from the code. This is how AI we can do better with AI because we build a code on top of a code. You can think like that. Yeah. So then it's actually we had these machines that we designed the hardware as humanity, and this is the software interaction. Now we just get better and better and better and better on it.
So where does that leave us, right? So where does code is one area, but one thing, as a founder, building a company today myself, but also everyone listening, how do I think through building a company in the future, or use your own, your new company, right? Doing Claro's Farm. How are you thinking through the AI future in being an entrepreneur?
So AI enabled me to believe that we can have better produce. And I was looking, there's so much research, so much knowledge that humanity created to have a nutritional produce in the world of capitalism, meaning cheap, high quality, and scalable, right? This data exists. This was my belief. But could I do this with Google search? That how we were working before, right? Google search, read, Google search, read. Impossible. Mm-hmm. But because now I said, oh, I can have all these millions of scientific articles, search them, fine tune a model to build better crops. And I was figure out a way without being a scientist, without being a farm guy. I'm a product guy. And this is the solution. And can we build a strawberry? Can we create a strawberry without not touching the genetics, just feeding it right way? Can we boost its vitamin C content? So without the AI, I wasn't able to do that. So you think a problem that, and everyone loves strawberry, so there's no market fit problem, that I was able to do that. But this is something that in my heart that I want to do it. I want to eat better food, right? So, or I want to build, example, a better financial tracker for your loans, right? That will be AI agent, lives on your Gmail, right? And then reads all the loan application, the loan accounts, all the things. It will forget password. I just gonna track your loans. And I have a little loans. I don't know. Do you have loans or no?
Not many. I mean, obviously, mortgage, credit cards a little bit, but I pay
Yeah.
those off every month.
I have a little loans. I do financing a lot. I think it's a great way. So you improve your house, you do financing. You have to track that. So instead of buying the Tesla solar panel, like just upfront $80,000, you can do financing. But sometimes they are zero term, like 0% term. Like they just divide it into 36 months, like why not? Yeah, right? Some people, I like that. And I leverage it a lot. And I have so many loans. It's like 20. It's crazy. About money, I can make more money investing in stocks that I know, do investments in Bitcoin or gold, or do investments in angel investments. So I can have for me, the optimization is use as less as possible in monthly terms and increase your lifestyle.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah, so you built this AI tool to like track.
Exactly, like do non-tracking, right? Whatever I think, we should not think what every company needs, what kind of companies we have. Instead of building like with 200 people, now we can build it with 5 people and just do better features, faster features, cheaper prices. What AI should make our life cheaper. So the software needs to go down. If it is $59 you are buying Monday, example, let's say you have 1,000 people team. I don't know why we have per seat pricing in this world in AI. It's crazy in my opinion. It should be based on power or based on something else, token, right? So why the hell this source one company can come? Which 3 tools you are using? Like, listen this, very crazy. I'm using, let's say, and this is an Instagram coach sells online courses, right? I'm getting a message, AI responds to the message, then take that message, schedule it with a closer, high ticket closer. So high ticket closer records the calling gong, optimize it, do a commission, right? You have that process. So you look at it, which tools do you use? Okay, I use Mercury, I use Ramp, I use QuickBooks, I use Finaloop, and let's say 5 more tools. AI can say, some company can say, okay, I'm just combining these 5, right? The functions will combine actually. So it will be more. So we don't need to think crazy far. So instead of we have to think, now we have a supercomputer, like what kind of services we can do to companies. And then what every successful company do, you learn a lot. Next year, you try to do a better guess. That's your version 2. That's your new features. That's your pivot. That's your new customer extension. That's your new product expansion, right? We should think in that. Like trying to think 10 years next Apple is, in my opinion, very difficult.
So you're going to keep jumping around, but then how do you do that as an investor, right? You've done 150 investments. When you invest, I mean, I've done a huge number myself. You're theoretically betting to some extent that this is going to be a really big value company 10 years from now, because that's when you're going to have the exit, you hope. So how do you make that sort of bet? What are you looking at to place a 10-year bet?
So in my opinion, I'm a guy changed where it lives every 2 years. I'm a guy built a lot of companies. And if you look at my average is 2-3 years, it's very difficult to bet 10 years or 20 years. Like you need to be a very dynamic company. So I remember while working in Gusto is growing. I think, no, they said it. They are 50% growing every year. It's a new company every 2 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's totally new company. So if you can do that, then you become a $1 billion unicorn, because when you have 10 customers, you don't need to build a huge CX team. But when you have like 100,000 customers, you need to build an insane CX team. The time and what you are building, the needs you will need to solve, I don't think guessing next 10 years is impossible. It will put you so much stress because so far there's so many unlimited amount of variables. So in my opinion, the best companies build something for the solve problems of today and iterate as much as possible, as fast as possible, build better features or deeper or adding more features and build a great experience for people.
So then are you betting on the founder themselves? Like in
my angel investments, I do one thing. Look, I'm not that complicated. I look at the product. Is it the product I will build myself? Is it something I love? Like DocuSign. I love DocuSign. Even the UI is not perfect. There's some, but it's an unbelievable life. I invest in DocuSign. Anytime I have little money, I put money in DocuSign. Cloudflare. I am obsessed with Cloudflare. Like, I remember their first video in Y Combinator. They had this road, like, and they did an IPO, man. It was $16. And I was like, insane. It's a great company. No one can compete with them.
But that's because I would argue they also have great leadership as well. Like Matthew Prince and that team is like really good. And there's something special about them as a founder.
But they built insane products. So I look at that. It's a great product that I want to be in. I'm excited about. And I think about so many ideas. So it's like there's thousands of ideas. Jude Gomile is a great investor. He says, I simulate ideas in my head. I sort of do that too. And then sometimes so funny, I see a company. I said, what a great company. I look at it, I invested before. That's the Angelus, of course. Well, you see 2 pounds.
Like, did they build a product that I would want to use? That's sort of because...
Number one. And then I look at product founder market fit. Can this founder knows the thing, can figure out this future idea, and it doesn't need to be that idea. They can change it a little bit. Can they build this? So example, I invest in a company, Betterment, human interest. Very, very low valuation.
Me too, but I'm an investor in human interest as well.
Yeah. So when I look at that company, I look at, okay, they are betting, they had one integration, not Gusto. Guideline adds Gusto. I think human interests have Rippling and few more. I think it was Zenefits at that time. I said, okay, just grow with this payroll platform. If they don't do anything, they will be a $4 billion, $10 billion company. Mm-hmm. That is enough for me. And I hate to use 401k. I still don't like they are expensive. Guideline is still crashing, but they are a little bit high quality market, maybe, right?
I think so.
I like all of my companies. I like few minutes decisions, and I start to go. And every company I love is sort of any company I taught, and these are the all companies I like a lot. But I seriously like their products. Like if I unlimited time, I will help them. It's like more like a Warren Buffett. I want to be part of. So whenever I talk with wealth managers, I say, I will never invest in index funds.
Why?
Because I don't like Verizon. Like Robinhood, I like that product. I don't care whatever the market says. Then they launched this credit card, and I have so many I'm obsessed with their credit card. Such a great experience. I think they built the best credit card product on the world, period. Like, even in the user flow, when you see, they say, you are the additional card, gold cards, they put everything 3%. Points is unbelievable. Additional cards. It's just unbelievable UI. Virtual cards, how fast it is. And because they have this amazing innovation product, startup mindset. I love their product. GitLab. I don't care GitHub is bigger. I love GitLab. I use it for many, many years. So why I don't put money on it, I'm very like this. Like, very, very simple. I don't look at the market. And today GitLab was low. I bought a little bit more.
Yeah. I saw their market. They went down. So I love that sort of simplicity in some ways. Just saying, like, do I like the product? Does this fit for me? And that comes, though, you being good at that comes from, and this is probably why you're also a good founder and entrepreneur, comes from presumably like you read a lot, you're learning a lot all the time. Like, what do you think you as an individual entrepreneur who's founded 15 companies, what is it about you that gives you that knowledge to say, this is a product I will love? Because most people, one, they don't even know what they love. They don't even have like the the experience, skill set, or depth of knowledge to know whether they even should love something. Like I don't think most people have taste, to be honest. Like most people don't have good taste. Like how did you get there? How did you become this person?
I will tell you three secrets.
Please.
One, I had a friend when I was like 7, 8 years. Yeah, sorry, when I was elementary school. Junaid was his name. I walk with him nearly every single day, sometimes 2 times, and just talk about tech.
Really? This is in
Sure.
elementary school.
Elementary school. At that time, it was 3D discs, hard drive, monitor, technology, sociology, life. Okay.
Was he stabbing through it? Was it you, or you just both were? Like, how did you get each other, or was it because of your dad because he was in tech already?
I think I was a curious guy, and this was the fastest way to build things for other people. You know, it was computer, software, games, like where the technology will go, hardware. But it was a different thing. Like we had a satellite dishes, you know, like you try to get, we have these small, low quality computers, but it was exotic and interesting, you know, and you build things, interact with it. It's magical. And then he wasn't a software engineer, he became a physics person, but we talk hours about uh, supernatural things, parapsychology, spirituality, and then tech, computer, society, everything. Like whatever at that age, 40 years. And then when I come to Silicon Valley, I had Selçuk, another friend of mine, that I talk nonstop. And then I had and then I had that all of my life. I talk about tech maybe 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours a day with my wife. My wife is a founder. We only talk about tech, and which is okay. But this is interaction with how we can grow a new generation kid, how we can grow a tech entrepreneur kids, like, or how we can make our kids entrepreneurial or build something innovative, new things, disrupt these things in their life, right? It's a little bit different mindset. And then the other thing I do, and I will tell you the thing that I'm doing it for maybe 10 years, but I had the other solution when I was very young. I use a tool called Feedly.
Yeah.
And Feedly, and then I select auto read, and I follow nearly 80 to 50 to 80 resources every time in my life. And I read maybe 500 to 1,000 articles every single day.
How are you reading that many? Because it's auto read.
Just title. Yeah, I just go up, it just reads. So example. And I have crazy things like I read every single title of Crunchbase. I saw every top 10 product hunt launches since they launched. Every top 10 product. So if you go to my Feedly, so now I am following AI newsletters, AI product launches, AI founding news. So I read every single AI funding news.
Yeah. Oh, is it just the title, but still it gives you enough?
Title. If it's interesting, I click on it. You know, some description, right? Product count. And then growth related things, VCs, and then it just goes and changes. So now, whatever I'm building now, I just go add that on Feedly or what I will build, because this is more crazy. 15 of my companies, at least in Silicon Valley, the 4 companies publicly known, Movilala, Mojilala, Leo AR, Remote Team, and Claros, are absolutely different than each other. The Remote Team is B2B, Claros is AgTech, agricultural tech, Movilala was entertainment app, Mojilala was a sticker platform for chat apps, and Leo AR is augmented reality Instagram kind of app. It's all different. And Remote Team is a B2B, fintech, international payment. It's crazy. So I just like to do things that I have no idea.
But that's because so once again, like,
because I can learn so fast and I am not that smart. So Feedly is giving me the superpower because I saw so many things in life. It's just insane. And I'm very spiritual. So I can do lucid dream. I have a place in Costa Rica that I have ayahuasca. I do, like, my tongue is always on the top, like this mantra chia, like spiritual meridians, like feeding the brain, working with the chi, eating good food, doing biohack. So I had this 360 personality that just everything in my life is new. Like keyboards. This is my 20th keyboard in life. Every iPhone I buy, every single iPhone, I buy every single pixel. So Kickstarter, oh my God, I bought every single mosquito product up there. I bought like nonstop, probably like 3 to 4 things in Kickstarter. So my life is constantly latest version, you know?
So I mean, it's like sort of living on the cutting edge, but also you're, I think polyglot's sort of the right word. You're someone who is constantly learning from so many things, like always learning. And as you said really early on in this point, like you're just super curious, right?
I think so. I think so. I'm super curious. Yeah.
I mean, I love, look, this is why I like you. I mean, I would say I read a huge amount every day. I try to tell people the same thing. It's, I think, what's made me a really good investor. I don't try quite as many things, but I go really deep. Like I've tried a bunch of keyboards, all those things too, and biohacking. So tell me more, like on that note. Well, first of all, how do you find the time for it, right? How do you find the time to do the reading, raise a family, try all these things, do religious sort of ceremonies, test every new thing that comes out on Kickstarter? Where do you get the time for that? Or how do you organize your day on top of starting 15 companies?
They are not all of them, but I failed in most of them because I try to do too much. Anytime I try to do too much.
How do you define too much though? Like how does someone know when it's too much, right? Obviously you don't necessarily know either. You failed on some of them. So how do you know when it's too much?
You need to be like Warren Buffett. I think that's the ultimate person. Like,
you define in what sense?
Yeah. When Bill Gates, we like him or not, when he saw his calendar is empty. And he's the richest, like probably richest guy on the planet, the richest guy on the with all the cash. Like, can you imagine how much cash? He can just say, I'm gonna crash Thailand tomorrow. Like he can destroy Thailand with that money. You know, the power is unbelievable, and his calendar is empty.
But that's today. It wasn't the case probably when he was running Microsoft.
And not the Bill Gates, Warren Buffett.
Oh, Warren Buffett. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Warren Buffett.
His calendar was always like that.
Always.
I think it's always like that. But he had rituals. When you look at the oldest organizations in the world, Japanese organizations, some religious organizations, Middle East religion organizations, or a Vatican kind of organization, or bank in Italy. The bank in Italy starts with days with their special prayer. So the more rituals that we have, now within Silicon Valley, we call them workflows maybe, more rituals you have, it becomes part of your life. So I don't work before 10 a.m.
What do you do before then?
Yeah, I wake up. I go to breakfast with my wife. I earth. I go outside barefoot. I eat drinks like beautiful dandelion, mushroom teas, and do chores at home. Some small things. Walk in the park every day. We walk in the park every day and record ourselves. So we have this DJI microphones. We put it and record it.
What
so
are you recording your conversation with your wife?
For 10 years.
Wow. Every conversation.
And I am now transcribing it and putting in AI.
That's kind of awesome. I want to do that. I have all my, not recordings, but I have every chat going back to AOL and some Messenger days. I've saved all of those. And so I want to feed those in, although they're not really relevant. Like I'm such a different person than I was in like 2000.
I actually inputted in AI and put it in Manus. I sort of didn't like the results yet. So I think it's coming. I think it will be better and better. So
why record it with your wife?
I think it's a great archive to replicate myself, to do better workflow. So now I am doing, whenever I create an idea, I have this folder about me that I probably did more than 500 like talks like this, university talks, like. And every week I'm in Turkey, I will stop by 3-4 people and say, watch my videos. Right. So I put all these videos as well. And now I am asking, like, these are the things that I do. Which company should I build? And that's my
saying, like, given all my thoughts, all the things I've talked about,
all my experience, what kind of company I should build. And it's like thousands of pages, things about me.
And it gives you spitting out smart ideas of what you should build next and do next. So
I don't think it's super smart yet, but it's faster than I thought, or faster than I do Google search. Now I can go to Monos, ChatGPT Teams. It's just like I can brainstorm way faster now.
What made you decide then, walk us through then taking all these recordings, how did they lead to Claros? Like you doing ag tech company, which is doing...
Yeah, I want to do something good for the world because I'm so tired of patchy solutions. Nutrition is a patchy solution, and our body rejects any kind of most vitamins because it's a foreign material and it's an isolated molecule. So vitamin C in nature is not isolated. Or when you get an antibiotic for allosin, we are getting a isolated thing. But if you eat dates, that's probably better than most multivitamin. But the problem is the dates we are eating is not the dates humanity ate 100 years ago, because the soil is dead, because there's no biodiversity. Capitalism and scalability destroy the nutrition for the look, for the transportation. I don't think there's an evil plan on it. They just need to transport a banana from South Africa or South America, right? And to do that, you need to put all the sprays, you need to make the surface stronger, blah, blah, all this stuff. And then nutrition is gone. So when the nutrition is gone, if we are lack of mineral, lack of vitamin, we are lack of health. And then we start to do all this stupid biohack stuff, like crazy amount of stuff, because we just can't put rose water on our face. If you put rose water, wash your face every day with rose, you will have the best skin in the planet Earth probably. We lost that, but even the rose we're gonna grow today will not have the properties. So you have this saying, if you just want to get 1,000 milligram of vitamin C, you need to eat maybe just throwing out 5 pounds of orange, because the orange doesn't have vitamin C anymore. And I love to eat these healthy foods, and I couldn't find good strawberries. I don't have figs in Turkey, in US. I don't have mulberry in US. There is so many beautiful produce in the world, and in the US, it's lack of it. Then we go to junk food, we go to other things, we go to vitamins, we go to nutrition. We need to get all this stuff instead of eating a vegan or not great meat, because we don't have great meat. I am eating more in Turkey and losing fat.
Yeah. Because it's just healthier, the quality.
Because the food is medicine.
Yeah.
You eat an amazing meze, which is the best, let's say, sesame with a sea bass. You eat that food, you're actually getting healed. But in US, we are getting down, and I was so tired of it. Bread, I have beautiful places in Austin that I bought the bread from, and they are like years of like very old from. You feel weird after it, but you go to France, you eat as much as bread you want, and you don't feel anything. It's like insane, So, because we are products touched by 2,000 chemicals. You see all the products with full of heavy metals. So how the hell arsenic goes to this product?
So with Claros is the idea that you guys are finding the world's best produce wherever it's located, maybe Turkey, wherever else. Then you're freeze drying it, is what I saw on the website, and packaging it up.
But we want to build, let's say in Oregon, we have the best weather, but or Napa, we can build a grape with special liquids that will create the best grape in the way we want. So let's say, what is the profile of a taste of a grape? All the things that grapes create $1,000 wine. And then we can reverse engineer it right now. And deliver that taste to the body right now. If you don't want to do packaged goods, if you don't want to use chemicals, if you don't want to use preservatives, you have to freeze dry it. Mm-hmm. Freeze dry it keeps the material, but takes everything else, so there's nothing bad, and it becomes shelf stable, and you get 97%, they call it, and it's the technology that NASA built it for the space.
No, I like the the website design and kind of the.
Yeah, we need to make a better, like, put our vision there, what we really, and we want to try to do the cheap, like, so I think everyone should eat great produce.
Of course.
It's so sad. I don't see an obese person. I went to Iceland, France, London. There's no fat person. And you go to America, that poor person is innocent.
Yeah, they're just getting poisoned by the food system.
He doesn't even know. I was in Michigan when I first moved to US. I was in Michigan for 6 months. And there was a guide dog. He was like this big. I'm not joking. Like huge. And every day he was buying one Subway, one Monster drink, one Subway, one Monster drink, one Subway, one Monster drink. It puts like a ritual. And he's huge. And I think, man, this makes you huge. He doesn't even believe it. He's that brainwashed because there's no warning level. He trusts the system and the government. But what happened is when we decrease the business of cigarette companies, all the chemistry, the chemical things we built for the cigarette industry, that was like probably more than 10,000 different chemicals humanity built for the cigarette industry. That industry patented, licensed these chemicals and built chemical companies and now find ways to use it.
Of course.
So it's capitalism. There's nothing wrong. This is how we built a system. We can't get angry on it. They are not doing anything illegal, right? So this is what the system built. And now we are hearing 2000. But if you add air, like you go to water database, ewg.org, you put your zip code. Like, do you see things that, oh my God, cows cancer, 1000x more than the 100x more than the safety limit? And is it the fault of manipulation? I don't know. I don't think so. Some of it's leaking it. We didn't build a system to clean it, maybe. Or maybe there's evil, who cares? But we get this. When you add all the poison we get in US, it's like probably 10,000 chemicals touching our body. Now I see most homes in Europe is built by bricks, right? Like these white bricks, maybe like a puffy, pretty cool in Turkey, or in French, these like bricks with hole. They don't have mold problem. In US, like they say, 75% of the homes have molds, parasites in our food. Like it's just insane.
Yeah.
So I want to build a solution, and I believe food is medicine. And humanity find it scientifically for thousands of research. The information is out there. So AI enabled me to find the right combo. So in Washington or in Austin, I can maybe build the best flour for the best rose for the skincare, right? It will, because I can increase that materials like by feeding it. If you feed junk food, less minerals to people will be unhealthy. If you feed the produce in a right way with full of nutrition, it will grow and nourish, you know.
So first of all, I love that idea. I'm going to follow more and maybe go buy some of the freeze dried stuff.
Yeah, thank
Huge
you.
believer in that. Walk me through though, like this is maybe a nice segue. I want to come back to we got way off track for your daily life schedule, but
let me do that quickly. And then I have drinks every day. I have very cool drinks. Like if you see my storage, it's like full of herbs. And we do
your own sort of tea or something.
So much. Like I have saffron, clove, raisin with seeds. It's just endless. It's like probably like 50. And mushroom liquids, special oils, kind of you can teach oils.
What's taken? How do you know what's working?
IAB test. I believe it is placebo effect. I believe it. Placebo effect is real, placebo. So I believe it. I think it works. So who cares? I have crow in my mouth every night. I wake up with beautiful taste. I feel it also, right? So then I start to work. I have a lot of emails. I have a lot of research. I do a lot of meetings with my team members. And then after 5 o'clock, we go out, walk with my wife again. Then I try to eat before sunset.
Okay.
So I try to eat until 5 o'clock is our eat time. Like 5 o'clock is very early.
Do you breakfast too, or no? Just like you one meal a day?
Maybe breakfast very light. Very light.
Just then early dinner and then nothing again until.
Yeah, so we are constantly, if you think about it, if we, let's say, sometimes eat at 11 o'clock and then eat at 5. So 11 to 5 is like intermediate fasting every single day.
Yeah. And then when do you have time? So you're doing all these emails, different people you're talking to, doing calls like this. When do you end up having time to just think and come up with new ideas? Like what do you do after your dinner with your wife?
Yeah, I do like now. Right now is my idea time. Like after 9 o'clock to 11 or night, like between 5 to 8. After work is my
dedicate per day for like actual like your company, like Claros or whatever else you're focused on. Is that just like a few hours every day and then you're focused on other things? Like sort of a little bit like Warren?
No. I really focus on Claros. Like it's like a full time. I focus on Claros a lot, but I focus on the product, mostly research, like doing vibe coding, and then at night I have a lot of ideas. I now every idea I have, I do a small vibe coding in Replit. So I have like hundreds of apps. But I am thinking to build something really big. I'm really thinking to build my last startup, and it will be in the banking, fintech banking.
Nice.
Yeah, AI agents, fintech banking. Because I always leverage Turkey and US. I take a product from Turkey, bring it to US. Every hundreds of products from US bring to Turkey. I think Turkish talent when it comes to AI is unbelievable. Because Turkey, we like it or not, political or apolitical, doesn't matter. There's a truth here that they figure out a way to build great drones, like cheaper, best drones, because it's like fast Turkish engineering. It's very cheap. It's like when you compare to Raptor in US versus a Bayraktar drone, I think I heard somewhere it's like 3 million, and it's pretty good. Like it's like instead of buying a $50 million drone, you buy like 5 of them or 10 of them.
Yeah, a huge order of magnitude difference in price.
Turkey banking is amazing.
What does it mean to be amazing banking?
The feature set is unbelievable.
Feature set, okay.
Like
But you're able.
Turkish banking is 20 years ahead of US banking.
Doesn't shock me.
Yeah.
So you're leveraging overseas talent essentially and arbitraging probably some of the costs as well and being able to hire them. Walk people through like how you as a great entrepreneur, you have all these great ideas. So I'm kind of building a picture of you, right? You have these great ideas. You're always having ideas. You're reading new things, thinking of new things. How do you hire and build the right team and culture to actually make that idea become a reality?
So this is more crazy. Remote team was all built by junior people.
How do you define junior people?
Like no experience before.
Okay. Very junior.
Or very little. Very, very little.
Yeah.
My CTO had a little bit, maybe 4 years experience, 5 years experience building startups with me. But the rest of our team was like their first job in life, some of them. Wow. And I think there's more crazy. So I wasn't lucky enough in life to work with people early on with insane experience. So I have a team Claros actually, but he's a quick learner. I will not say he's like expert on that. He's learning everything, but he learns very, very fast and really does a perfect job. So I wasn't lucky enough, but now I am in more networks like PEF and other networks. So I think I can hire way better people who is expert on what they are doing. And this time, so in my next company, I will hire people that really knows how to do things and did it many, many, many times. Yeah.
Okay. So walk me through that. You've done 15 companies. So how do you build how do you define a great culture? What does that look like? Where does it come from? What is a great culture in your mind as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So what I look at 5 things. I look very quick learners like me. Like even I test them in the 2-3 weeks of interview process. What did they learn? Like how their mindset change? Like what do they read at that time? Right? That's quick learning is very good. I only can work with smiley people.
Smiley.
Smiley, happy. I cannot work with unhappy people. It's impossible. Like everyone in my company should be very smiley and have a sense of humor, like funny people. Like I cannot work with like it, and I had people, it's a very obvious. Not in my, I only have one job in one work in life, which is Gusto, was my only company I work. So the company culture is great. So many people are very helpful, but you see unhappy people too in startups too, right? You met with a contractor or vendor. It's very unhappy people. It's so sad. I cannot have that. And if they have no money problem, will they do this business on the side? This sort of it can be their hobby. so they don't feel they are working.
Because they enjoy it. How do you define if someone's really enjoying it though, or wanting to build this with you? How do you figure that out?
They work harder and harder. They engage more time, not because of money.
But you're selling them, you must be selling them that vision a little bit up front.
Yeah, of course. All the vision first. All the vision that. But when you work with juniors, what I tell people, like what you learn here in 2 years will be equivalent to 5-6 years in other places. I'm sure if you work in OpenAI, it's now very unbelievable. Like I'm not talking about Funk. I think I can compete with Funk. All the Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, right? But not Stripe, maybe not Stripe. Stripe, probably people can learn so much because you are working with insane scale, right? But other than the top, I can offer them being in the top 10,000.
But how do you create the culture that people are going to learn that much in the companies you build? Like, what is that special or unique about?
No, it's in them. I think if you force them or if you tell them people, like you just tell them the tools. So I always ask the question in the interviews, how do you learn things? How do you make yourself better? How do you improve? That person, like when you ask, like, how do you improve yourself? The answers are the people who doesn't do that every single day and internalize it in their heart will give you unbelievable stupid answers. You just want to improve yourself. That's most the question, the answer. I look at it, how do you improve yourself? Because in startup, when you are building a startup, I'm not talking enterprise startups or something, like a lot of new kind of stuff. It's all about how fast you will learn,
Your slope of learning in a sense. So you bring these people together, fast learners who want to go build, excited by your vision. And then how do you get them focused to build that product? What is your product management thesis? Like, how do you get people to go, like, who's writing the product spec? Who's helping figure this out? What are the things you do that you think other entrepreneurs should replicate? Because obviously you think it's good.
I always build engineering first teams. I'm an engineer, right? So in most of my companies, I think engineering is more like how it works. Steve Jobs say design is how it works. So how it works is user experience. And then engineers think their code is so important. So I instantly make everyone interact with the customer so fast that they realize, holy shit, like I'm doing this, but it affects this customer's experience like that. Right? And then it gives them the awareness of building for the experience and for the customers. I think that's very unique, and that's really makes people work so fast.
Because they're really building for the customer.
They're really building for the customer. And they start to engage them, talk with them. And most engineers are nerds. We are nerds. Like we don't talk with too much. But when you put off, and then you also understand like how you define things. You are so different from people too. You understand that. And then sometimes our people learn from that too. So I make every single person in the company interact with the customers all the time.
How quickly do you like to get things in front of a customer? Like,
I have no patience.
Love. Oh, no patience.
It's like,
immediately get in front of customers, every new feature, ship it, MVP fast. And so even if it's terrible, you're just like, get in front of people.
Craigslist, we still have Craigslist.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, Craigslist really works. We still have MSN, we still have like Google is like boxes with no design. It's like Google is like blue text with black text on a white screen with colorful logo with a big search box. We don't have beautiful products.
You're just like doing user tests every day, essentially.
Yeah. You look at how user interact the product, and I think the secret is you also need to be the user.
Yeah, of course.
So the products that I really use every single day, like remote team was very successful in my opinion because every person in the company used the product. Period. Like let's say we had a document, so you don't need DocuSign. You find all the documents. Maybe we might be the first one building it. In the system, you can send agreements, upload the agreements, send the agreements. We built a super beautiful team and agreement kind of thing. It's very, very easy to use. And John was the guy who built it. I told him, you're going to send it to every employee first. You're going to first do it yourself. Move all of your agreements there. And then he see all the bugs and he fixed them, make a good product for himself, for the team, and for the world.
That's how, by the way, I like to build the same way. We've done some things in my company at Shore where we've gone slower and it's frustrated me. How do you know when it's good enough then? Or how do you know when you've hit on something that's successful? Like, what does good look like to you?
Yeah, as a product or as a business?
Both. I mean, both and sort of either one.
Yeah, the product is like, I use the first maybe 50 times, 100 times. Like my expertise is screenshots. I have a keyboard button for screenshots. So my life expertise, if you look at my product,
Screenshots too. I use
I have a button here like called screenshot. I just press the button, it does an area screenshot, and all of my screenshots go to Dropbox. I need to make them something like analyze screenshot search and auto categorization. I need that too. If someone knows that tool, comment it, please. Yeah, my expertise is screenshot. I will say I'm a very good screenshot all the time. Loom too. Whenever I use a product, I open our dashboards in our products or in our products. I just open Loom and just record the whole thing. Maybe I forgot sometimes record my whole day, and then tell people like fix this, do that, and then use it many times, and then put it in front of customer. And big companies like Gusto start to do it like 2%, 3%, 5%, 10%, like do a more gradual deployment. They do partial deployments.
Is that, do you think, the wrong way to do it, or just because they're so big, they have to do gradual?
I think you have to do it like for that size of company, because it's not the product. You have to do the CX, you have to do the engineering. Like if there's a bug, like in a big company scale, like you have to do that. Like I don't think you can launch something.
So how do you know then from a business perspective as an entrepreneur, if something is successful, so that people are paying money, they're willing to part with their money to use your product? Is that the definition of success?
I think what capitalism allow us, we exchange value with money, period. And then that value decider, arbiter is United States dollars, right? It's very, very easy. I think for SaaS companies, growth and revenue should be the North Star, nothing else. Of course, then engagement, ACV, NPS, all
Sales. In the end, if you're growing and making money, it means you've hit on something that someone is finding value.
Yeah, exactly, period. And then you constantly, there's two ways of doing it. You find similar people who will pay similar money,
Yeah.
and then you try to either serve that customer or add more features to add a little bit different type of customer, And I think you have to sort of build things that you are using every day. You have knowledge. So I'm really thinking to build a bank, like a fintech tool, combine bank accounting, finance. Like it's so crazy that we have bank transactions, the Stripe transactions, bank transactions. Then you put it in QuickBooks. QuickBooks is horrible. Then you put it in another tool. Then you put another tool to get better graphs. Then you use another tool for your credit cards. Then you use another tool. It's self-created. It's ridiculous. It's like, what the hell? Now, because of AI, we can build 10 tools in one tool right now. I believe in the future, instead of hyper-focused companies, we will start to see, again, like companies like at all things, like all-in-one platforms,
Yep. Yeah, you mean like sort of bringing everything together in one sort of super app that's pulling together together, just because.
It made me feel like ClickUp was started like that. We're replacing like 10 tools, but we still use Notion. They can make
use Notion if you have ClickUp.
Yeah, I like how Notion manages the documents and how they manage the documents, the tree structure.
There's a cost of having multiple tools.
I know. Which tool is your favorite tool?
I mean, we're big users of ClickUp actually as well.
ClickUp is amazing, right?
Yeah. We've moved off of Slack, so we use it with our clients, but we don't use it otherwise. So we've moved off of Slack. It's a huge tool. We don't use Notion. We try not to use email. Essentially, we forced the team to do everything. What do you think about like remote teams versus in person? Or what's the better way to do this?
Yeah, I never had an office in life. So I really know what is an in-person team look like. I never had an in-person team. I work with my co-founders in the same buildings, but I never had an in-person like 10 people team.
Okay. Ever. So your whole team's remote, and that means you're hiring people globally or you're certainly arbitraging lower cost talent. It sounds in different places. You're hiring globally. And how do you manage then a global team? Like, what is your secret to managing people?
First of all, I start to see that different countries by culture good at different things.
Yep, for sure.
Right? I really believe Eastern Europe is really good in math kind of things, so security, algorithms. France is really good with AI, in my opinion. Turkey is really good with AI. You can find amazing product engineers in Pakistan and India. But I started thinking like this, and then in remote team, we had a huge content team in Ghana because Ghana is a great journalist school, and English, British English is their first language, official language. So I start to hire a lot of people in that journalist kind of school. Like I sort of leave it to people. Like if I tell people to interact with each other, and I think a lot of people interacting with each other sort of creates these connections.
I agree. I think having a world team gives you a whole different perspective on the world in general, and hopefully builds a better product because you're getting all these different ideas from everywhere.
Yeah, I see in startups, they do so many activities, so many benefits, so many team activities, trying to connect teams, offsites, on sites. I don't know it really works.
I'm glad you and I are the same. I agree. But a lot of people think otherwise. Obviously, they spend a lot of money on it.
Some people want to see and get permission to go to a dentist, so they have to go to office. Some people really love that. Some people really love to be in a traffic for 2 hours listening podcasts, go to a building which on top of each other, right, and work in ACs. I think that a lot of people enjoy.
A lot of people also have said that there's a whole level of. I interviewed someone once again recently who said they're bringing everyone back in person because they think there's a huge productivity boost to having everyone in one place.
I think it's a psychopathism. They are psychopaths. Sorry, but people drive 1 hour in traffic. That everyone wakes up at 8. They are so busy. They don't even eat good food. Then they come to office. They have to get a coffee. They have to release the cortisone that is like released for 1.5 hour traffic or metro drive. And then they don't work, in my opinion, good between 10 and 12. Everyone sort of sleeps. And then because you are making good money, you go out and eat high quality food like a maniac. And then you work, then because you eat so much, you get coffee again. And then you have to still digest the food, a little bit dummy, and work between 2 and 4. And because you work in a cool company, you need to talk with other people. Then you start to text each other where you're gonna go. I don't believe anyone works in companies more than 4 hours.
I agree. Like I think it's completely inefficient, but all these smart people are bringing people back to the office, right? Or are these big companies doing it because?
I think we don't have a two worlds. Like there will be a world which people want to work and life balance, and I believe work and life balance will create better ideas and more creativity. And win against this, I think AI. This is totally my theory. We have AI today because we had COVID. We had remote work.
All right,
Because you wanna do more, you wanna do more automation. You wanna automatize your life without going anywhere. Right? So we had the remote work. We saw, wow, I am in the place I want to live. I don't need to be in San Francisco anymore. I can be in Colorado. I can be in Seattle. I can be in Virginia. I make good money, right? And I can work from home with my pajamas, with no shoes. And you want to wear that disgusting thing every day for 8 hours. Like even your feet gets like this, you know? Instead of the freedom and the nice place, people buy homes around that with more garden, better views.
Yeah.
Right? And then people think, okay, I am happy here, more happier, making good money. How can I make this better? How can I do more things? And I think that created the desire of automation.
So given the desire of automation, obviously now that we have AI, right? So I'm going to maybe lay this out for you really nicely, but we have a world where you and I are both in agreement, like remote work first, you can hire better people, more efficient, more effective, everything else. Does that also apply then to the world of agents we're going to have? So in other words, you're going to now have all these not only remote workers, but also remote agents, essentially.
Agents are remote by definition.
Of course. So does that change what it means to be? I mean, if agents are what every company can be running, is the skill set of the future the ability to manage agents, essentially remote team members, which become remote agents?
Yeah, how you do anything? Like you, as a CEO, you hire this as a CFO, you talk with that person and train the person in the way in the culture, right? You onboard that person. So we will do the same thing with agents.
Yep, I agree.
There will be no difference that how we interact with a human, and we're not gonna put a neural link in our brain. So we're just gonna cope with an agent, and that agent will do the test for us. Like it will be. This is like 5 years later, or 10 years later.
So okay, I agree. So that's the future. A few quick sort of lightning round questions for you. Given the 15 companies you started, what made you decide to shut certain ones down or pivot them or sell them? What was the deciding factor? Like, how did you make a decision to get off that train for each one?
Yeah, normally I go to the end. Like I don't give up very easily. I don't want to give up very easily. I end up closing many companies because I just run out of money. I couldn't have money to support them. But, and the people I thought that I can train to be a good co-founder didn't become a great co-founder. So I had to involve more and more. When I was doing multiple companies, I was okay. I told everyone, like, I will not spend time with you. It's impossible.
So how do you select a good co-founder? What does that mean?
Because I come up with the idea and I train my co-founders. Some of them were CEOs, some of them are CEO, some of them was a CP, product officer. And I sort of like trying to build the company. I look at the product. And what I do is I maybe do it before a little bit. And then, okay, now your turn. Like example, if we are doing a design first, I provide the company that I was doing the design. Now I have an in-house designer will do the design. So I always on board.
How do you even define what a good co-founder is? Is it that scope, that ability to scale quickly with learning? And how do you find it?
So my co-founders are in my life was my friends, most of them. My first 8-10 co-founders was my life. And I had one co-founder that I never met with him. My co-founder introduced me. So we were 3 co-founders. But the rest of them was my friends, like in clubs, I met them. I was a Rotary Club co-founder. And I had met one of my best co-founder in life in that club. My school friends from my network, like I met with Dana, which we co-founded 3 companies together through found a friend in Founder Institute. I was saying I was looking for a co-founder like this. Do you know anyone? She said, he said, yeah, I might have a person for her. Like, what a fake plan. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. But the remote team, I didn't have anyone, so it was solo founder. And in this company, I think I will be a solo founder too. I don't think I will ever. If I find a great person, why not? But I don't think I will able to find anyone. It will be worth giving 50% now.
Especially when you're a multi-founder, I kind of agree. You don't need that the same way.
Like, so I was thinking the world is changing, AI agents. Now there's great contractors too, by the way. The world changed so much. There are like unbelievable contractors. And then it's better to use contractors that using AI tools and doing that service and connect so many contractors. I sort of like you can build a lot with that. And then, okay, then you make money, raise money. Then maybe you build more full-time people. Like the world is changing a lot.
Very fast. Is there, I mean, we already talked about this question, like work-life balance and unity, so we can kind of skip that. But like,
so my life and work is I do the things that I really like to do, really, really love to do. So I don't feel I am ever working.
Yeah.
But I always travel with my wife nonstop.
Struggle with your wife, I mean?
With my wife, like my co-founder and then my wife. So we traveled nearly every 2 months since we co-founded the company. So we had American Express points, Turkish Airline points, JetBlue points, and we were able to. We also traveled. We did 300,000 miles. My wife in California road tripping, 7 cars.
Same car. You just traveling, working?
Seven cars. 7 cars in 10 years. So we had lease, and in lease you have like 3 years,
Yeah.
let's say 12,000, so you can only use the car for 36,000 miles. So we lease a car, we finish it in a year, and then we give that car, get another car, another car, another
Yeah,
car.
and you were just driving. Where were you driving to?
Like California is beautiful.
It is. So you were just working while traveling, driving.
No. We left always Friday 5 p.m. and then go for, let's say, Santa Cruz Mountains or Pascadera or north of San Francisco, do Airbnb, go to Morro Bay, the California, like Yosemite, like Tahoe. Like California is the most beautiful place on the planet Earth.
Great. I live here.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So every Saturday morning, we go eat a breakfast and go to Half Moon Bay or Santa Cruz Mountain or Marina or Oyster Bay or like California is the like I really travel so many countries. I don't think there's Switzerland is beautiful. Switzerland is something else. I don't think you can put that into any other category. But California can compete with Switzerland in the beauty of nature.
That's so true. So you were just so it was just every weekend you'd be traveling with your wife and just doing that nonstop.
And chatting startups, chatting our companies.
That's cool that your wife is sort of that partner to you on that front.
I don't think I would ever marry a person who was not co-founder. I never had a friend who was not co-founder.
Wow.
I have no friends in normal life, corporate life.
It's just all big founders, people you would work with.
Yeah. No. I have a company or a co-founder. And now I'm getting this very funny. I only gonna talk with PF member and exit founders.
Smart.
Like that's my new thing. Like I don't talk with if it's not super founder PF, I just don't talk.
It's not worth the time in some cases. I totally agree. I mean, I like talking to new founders a lot because I learn things from them. They have new ideas, but
I don't care.
For this podcast, I want to talk to only people who've got multiple companies because that's what you learn about.
Yeah. I like the people who build multiple different things. So like not the person who's in the health industry for 20 years. I don't enjoy these people. Or they built their fourth security startup. I understand the security people. Okay, so unbelievable. You make money and you want to stick with it. I totally get. But the only good, it's not my type. My type is to build so many different companies, like 3 different companies, or have a different work. They are from finance, building a food company. I'm throwing out, or they are from. Doctor building a consumer app, something like that.
Well, you're an incredibly curious person, but I think you live that life to the fullest. I mean, I want to have more time. We almost do it again. Like I want to talk about biohacking, some of the cool things you're doing on that. But so to finish things off, what's a single piece of advice you would give to yourself? To any, well, sort of 2 things. What if you could go back in time to yourself? I have 2 questions about advice. If you go back in time to yourself as a founder early on, what advice would you give yourself then to be a better founder or do better?
I will say this to people. So close your eyes and think 5 years ago. Do you even remember what we were doing 5 years ago in June?
Somewhat, not completely, but I have a general idea because I started my last company.
What were your problems at that day? Your worries?
I don't remember at all.
You don't even remember. Let's go 10 years ago. Do you remember?
No way.
1 year ago?
No, probably not.
Okay, then why are you worrying today? You'll not even remember it.
I know. Well, I try to write down. I have a reminder every day to write down a story from each day, and I try to do that now, but it's hard.
Yeah, but you record yourself. It's easier. There's so many tools now. Unify, Network, get cameras, record it, and bang.
More the time in building the habit of just saying I'm going to record myself and.
No, it's auto. You put everything in auto. It just constantly records.
You just leave a recorder on all the time?
Yeah, the Unify cameras records you all the time. And it's a 2 terabyte of disk, and then you download it, and then you store it, and AI will one day analyze the whole thing.
Not that interesting. A lot of my day is sitting here on the computer, typing and talking to it.
And the other piece of advice I will give, really, just don't worry. Just do whatever you think. Like, don't change your life. You will be fine. I will just say you will be fine. You don't need, and the world will, I believe, our fate plan things bigger than we can dream of. I think it's a better life is always written for us.
It's such a positive perspective, and it's true. I think but so many people get into a negative mindset.
Then you will live a negative. You will live a negative life.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you think bad things will happen to you all the time,
bad things will happen to you.
bad things might happen or not, but it's horrible living. Like, why you even think that? Like, so I really was in a hospital here with my wife getting this, like, your pregnancy, all the illnesses that you can have. And it was like a fear porn. It was crazy. And I raised my hand. I would go crazy. I raised my hand. I said, how many percentage of the women having this problem? Is it 1%, 5%, 10%? It's so stupid. They said, oh, we don't know. And then you ask them, like, is it like 1% or 5%? They didn't even understand that. And they said, no, this is 1 out of 100,000. And the half was like, so many women was like, ah.
Yeah, so unlikely.
So unlikely. And if it's you, there is also nothing you can do as a decision that would change that.
Correct. So why even know? I mean, I feel you. It's sort of, you can't worry about the things that you can't control.
Do you really control anything?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Did you control which university you went to? No.
Sort of, I tried to do well.
So you chose or someone chose that for you?
I chose.
No, you apply.
I applied. Yeah.
Okay. And someone read your application and decided we should be. So was it in your control? Maybe. But if that guy had a horrible day, yeah. Or let's say, where are you from?
DC originally.
DC. Okay. So let's say that guy had a horrible experience with a DC person at that day, and he looks at another DC. Yeah, like it's that simple. Like you have a taxi driver, and what if that driver was checking his phone? And life is, we have the illusion of control in my mind. Like while we are drinking the water, like I don't even think we have the full control. I think we just come here to witness it.
Oh, I love that. Very spiritual of you.
Yeah. Because think about it, like even the idea you have, you think like, there's an idea. I want to build something. But where is that even coming from? It says, I want to build a company. How much maniac you are. Like, why you want to build another company? Like, it's enough. But it's coming from you, that edge, that urge. Like, do you have control of that?
Somewhat, but not completely.
Not completely.
I mean, you can choose, to your point, you can choose to be happy and be optimistic and find new things that excite you. That is a choice you can proactively make.
Yes, exactly. And I think what you feel against the life, defining our frequency, that we live that kind of faith plan.
Okay, so on that note, you kind of already answered it, but is there a single piece of advice that you would give to every entrepreneur to achieve excellence? Is there something you would say, do X and you have a higher chance of excellence? I mean, is it just be optimistic, be curious, given all the conversations we had, or how would you really?
You are not a rat for the investors or for the society. Do something that you really enjoy and have a work-life balance.
Love it. Okay.
But you should not sacrifice. If you think you are sacrificing time from your kids doing a business, don't do it.
I agree completely. Life is way too short if that's how you feel.
How you feel. So if you are feeling, you should feel when you are building your company, you should feel you are doing something great every single day. You can have problems, non-stop problems. Like someone can sue you, you have a better competitor, losing your thousands of problems. I'm not talking about that. But if you are not enjoying it, it means that it's just change it.
Not worth it.
It's not
So
worth it. Yeah.
How can people get in touch if they want to learn more about your new banking venture, something in the future? If they want to,
LinkedIn, Instagram. I respond to most LinkedIn messages from founders.
Okay. Amazing. Thank you so much for the time. As we discussed, time is precious. You get to spend it with people who are smart and fun. This makes it fun for me. We'll have to do another one about your biohacking and other life philosophies at some point. But I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Ronnie.
If you love this episode, subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. Also, tell us the number one takeaway you got from the episode in the comments so more entrepreneurs can learn, grow, and thrive. Until next time.